If you plan to share space with another tenant, a room rental agreement can help you set the conditions and rights for all parties. Do you know how to draft one? Don't worry, in this video, you can find all the information to write one, why you need it, its benefits, and so much more. So let's get started. Room rental agreement. Also known as a room rental agreement, a Georgia roommate agreement is a contract that binds two or more tenants who share a rental property. This document defines the conditions, terms, and rules that both parties must comply with when using the space. A room rental agreement is necessary when more than one person lives in a rented property, but not stated in the original lease agreement. Therefore, if the master tenant hopes to find a roommate with whom they share the property, this document is essential. In Georgia, roommates can establish a room rental agreement to determine who is responsible for rent payments or utilities. Also, this signed rental contract is legally binding and allows a master tenant to add more people to the lease. With the room rental agreement, a tenant can enforce the roommate's responsibilities and financial obligations in accordance with state law. In addition, this document protects both parties' rights. Therefore, it is crucial in case of legal action. Under a Georgia roommate agreement, new tenants have the same rights as the master tenant in terms of the property's use. However, they must sign a new contract instead of the original lease agreement. Why should you use one? Through the room rental agreement, both parties can clarify their expectations and responsibilities to promote a better living environment and to avoid future problems. Not having one. Room rental agreements have been designed to protect tenants' rights and define both parties' obligations regarding a rental unit to avoid future problems. In addition, any tenant leasing a residential property can rely on this document to establish rules and boundaries before prospective tenants move in. With this rental contract, you can also be sure that all parties involved agree to the sublet terms. Therefore, you can have a peace of mind to avoid potential conflicts. Also, if the subtenant violates the conditions set in the room rental agreement, this document can be a key tool in requesting eviction. Roommate agreement. Both documents are similar. However, in order to draft a Georgia roommate agreement, the landlord does not have to be involved. This document can be used by both a homeowner and a tenant looking for a roommate. However, since the original lease agreement's conditions must be respected when a space is subleased, the landlord must sign the room rental agreement. Otherwise, the contract would not be valid. How to write one. If you plan to enter into a roommate agreement to share space with another person, you should make sure to include these elements in the document. Introductory paragraph. Like other Georgia lease agreements, the document must include the date the lease is signed, the name of both parties involved, the rental property's address, and start and end dates. Security deposit. The term defines the amount that the new tenant or roommate must provide as collateral in the event that the property or shared space is damaged. Once the secondary tenant moves out of the property, the security deposit can be used for repairs. If there's no damage and repairs are not necessary, the security deposit must be returned to the secondary tenant. In Georgia, this amount may vary. However, it cannot be higher than half of the monthly rent amount. Landlord's information. Another critical element in a roommate agreement is the landlord's information. When drafting the contract, the master tenant must provide the data of the rental unit's owner, including his name, telephone number, and addresses. Notice or disclosures. The secondary tenant or roommate must also be aware of all the disclosures set in the original lease agreement. Therefore, this document should include all related information. Tenants. As with any other Georgia rental application, the document's first few sections should include the full names of the tenants, phone number, email addresses, and other relevant personal information. In addition, the Georgia room rental agreement must specify if there are other roommates sharing the property. In this case, the contract should also include their phone numbers. The landlord's contact number should also be added in this section so the secondary tenant has the information on hand if there is an emergency. Pet fee deposit. If the roommate has a pet, the master tenant can request a fee that works similarly to the security deposit. This sum can be used to repair any damages the pet may cause. Also, if the original lease agreement includes laws regarding pets, the original tenant must ensure that the roommate receives that information. This fee may be collected as a monthly charge or a one-time payment. Property details. As in other Georgia lease agreements, the lease must also include the property's details after both parties have examined the unit. In this section, the master tenant must specify the address and unit number, street number, and county, especially if there are places that only those who live in the area can explore. Rental amount. In this section, both parties must divide the actual rent into portions that each roommate agrees to pay each time. The secondary tenant should know the exact amount to be paid each month and any late fees. The roommate agreement must specify whether or not the secondary tenant is responsible for turning over their portion of the rent to the landlord or the management company. In addition, the contract must specify whether the amount each party must pay is divided according to the size of the space they rent, or whether everyone must pay the same amount. Utilities. In this legal contract, both parties must make it clear that they are aware that they must share certain public services with their roommates. In Georgia, many landlords decide to pay the water or electric bills, but the other utilities not covered by the landlord are the tenant's responsibility and must be added to the document as an additional expense. Additional agreements. The Georgia Roommate Agreement should also include any additional agreements, including handling repairs, who is in charge of cleaning, or guests. Generally, rooms must be cleaned individually, but responsibilities for common areas are divided. Signatures. And finally, this section includes the signature of both parties and the date. If the landlord is required to sign the document, it should also be added here. Local laws for roommates. Georgia does not have strict laws regarding roommate rental agreements. However, the state requires that any residential unit built before 1978 must include a lead paint statement to properly inform tenants if living on the property poses potential hazards. The roommate agreement should also indicate if there is a mold problem. Additionally, Georgia requires leases to have a flood disclosure if new tenants move into a unit that has flooded at least 3 times in the last 5 years, or if there's a lot of flooding in the area. Potential issues. Even if you screen prospective tenants and you think you found the perfect one, some issues may surface. These are the most common issues that should be addressed in the roommate agreement. Sleep schedules, boundaries to maintaining privacy, non-confrontational methods to address minor issues, boundaries on how to address inappropriate guest behaviors, borrowing personal items. Building your own. If you need help drafting a Georgia room rental agreement, you have come to the right place. DoorLoop offers free templates to make the process a whole lot easier. You can find them in the description box below to help you out. E-signature. If you need to sign a room rental or roommate agreement with a new tenant, you want to make the process as easy and efficient as possible. With DoorLoop, you can get your agreements and templates e-signed in just a few seconds. You can also get to the e-signature step a lot quicker by creating reusable templates that are auto-filled with the tenant's information. DoorLoop also makes it so simple to find the best tenants in the first place by syndicating your listings on popular websites such as Zillow, Trulia, HotPads, Apartments.com, and so many more. You can also make sure you're bringing in the best tenants by screening your prospects in seconds through DoorLoop. So, if all of that sounds appealing to you, be sure to schedule your free demo, which can be linked in the description box below. We hope this video helped you along your property management journey. Be sure to like and subscribe for more videos just like this one from DoorLoop. Thank you so much for watching, and we hope to see you in the next one.